Hello, and welcome to my game dev live stream. This is stream number 57. I didn't really have any time tonight, and so I'm going to do my stream now. I still don't have a lot of time this morning, and then tomorrow I won't be streaming, so just going to work on what I can today. In this one, note which direction the player's facing. That's what I'm going to work on now. So we got the player here, got the Y and the X, and I'm wondering if we just change the scale to -1, it sort of flips the whole character. I could also flip the X on the sprite renderer. But if we do that, then we also have to flip the other sprite renderer. So we need like a list of sprite renderers to flip. I'm worried that just setting the scale to -1 might have other issues. Thinking with the animations we've got so far, so the player can jump just fine still move left and right when I press the appropriate keys. Hi, Ruby. When I attack right, it now does the left attack. So that's the issue I was thinking of. When you flip the scale, so I could just have one attack animation. And then you flip the character and it always goes in the right direction. Oh. Oh, that camera froze. She's not still just sitting there. That's weird. Huh. I don't know why it froze. That was weird. I don't know, maybe I'll just, oops, did not mean to just close that. Let me just do a quick search. Unity consequences of -1 scale. She's having fun in the other room, I guess. Okay. Well, having a -1 scale is certainly less upkeep, and doing the other way is probably safer but more upkeep. So that's an important decision there. Okay, I think the decision I'm going to make is to do the scale. So I need to get rid of the other animation, or, oh, shoot. Okay, I saved that one. I want to keep the right one, and I want to delete the left one. Okay, I'm also going to rename this to just player attack. And then in the animator, we've got to get rid of this one. Rename this one just to player attack. I'm going to get rid of both of the triggers. Yep, I know it's used. Add a new trigger just called player attack. And we'll transition on this. So let's see, we deleted the left, we renamed the right one. Then we changed it a little bit, changed the controller. Okay. Okay, that seems good to me. Now in the dynamic platformer character, we're going to open up this script. also going to need the kinematic data. So we've got this move direction. This is either -1 or +1. Up here we're going to check if player actions dot move direction is greater than 0. Then we'll check. Okay, I'm going to add a new thing here. This is going to be public bool is facing right. So if we're moving to the right and the kinematic data says we're currently facing, whoa, I'm having a sudden brain lapse. It's double Boolean. Okay, yeah. I don't know why. I just suddenly had a brain fart there. Okay, so if we're moving to the right and kinematic data dot is facing right is not true, then we will get the transform scale of the transform relative to the game object's parent. That's the one I want, pretty sure. That's a vector 3. And then I'm gonna make it a -1 times itself. So I wonder if there's already a function like this to flip it. Local scale dot flip transform dot local scale dot flip dot. No. All right, my own function private void flip x. Because I'm going to have to do this twice is the reason. So Then we set transform.local scale back to scale. And then also we're going to do kinematic data dot is facing right equals the opposite of that. So if it's currently false, it gets turned to true, and if it's currently true, it gets turned to false. We'll call that there. Otherwise, if it's less than 0, meaning we're moving left, and the kinematic data says we're facing right, and we'll also do flip x. And then we control the player's movement as normal. Let's try this out. Okay, wait, we gotta make sure that the data starts aligned with what we think it should be. Let me open this. It should be is facing right, starts as true. I perceive another bug is coming down the line, so that's interesting. Okay, so I'm facing right now, I stop. Reload, keeps working. Now if I end facing to the left, I stop. I come back. There. Now the player is facing to the right, but the kinematic data says that we are not, so now it's going to be flipped again. So when we start this, we need to do something here. If this is going to be a note here, align the direction of the player with the kinematic, with the direction we are facing from persistent data. So if kinematic data is facing right, well, maybe better than having an X, we do a private void face right function, and then a private void face left function. Need the absolute value of this scale to face right. And then to face left, we need the negative absolute value of this scale. The reason I'm not just setting the scale to -1 and +1 is because I don't want to make any assumptions about how big the character is. If the character is twice as big or twice as small. Anyways, so then I'm not going to use flip X. I just want to set this to false here. And then if we're moving right and the kinematic data does not say so, then we will call face right. Hi, Ruby. Hi. Oh, that camera isn't working again. What the heck is up with that? Uh-oh. And then we'll call it up here too. Uh-oh. You don't like the stainless steel bowl. Oh no. Sorry, I'm sure that was incredibly loud on the mic. Alright, it got taken away. I'm sure there's no longer any reason to bark like that. Okay. No one's watching live right now, but if someone watches this on YouTube, I apologize for your deafened ears. Alright, let's try this out. So when we load it in, we immediately are facing left because that's what the persistent data says. Okay, this looks good. Let me zoom out a bit so we can see through the jump. Ah! Oh, you know, it no longer works to do that because it's going to load it up from the file. Okay. So if we stop facing left, and then we load up again, we're in the same position facing left. If we stop facing right, I didn't quite hit that in time. We start facing right. Okay. Note which direction the player is facing. That seems to be done. Now, in the interest of time, I think I can get this one done. Create damaging collider script. And then I've got 5, 3, a 5, and a 3 left for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I can probably manage that. See, presumably this is like, what's a total of 16 points, 4 hours across 3 days, assuming that they scale. Oh, good shake. Arf, arf. Alright, let me see what I've got here. Update the update the character, the dynamic character to account for which direction the player is facing currently. Cool. So now let's work on this damaging collider script. I've got my notes forward in OneNote here. It's a script which handles collider damaging. It's got a damage characteristics. It's got a bool that tells you if it can damage more than once. And then we need to require a collider. Then it's got a couple of other functions to enable and disable the damaging. So let's get to work on that. I guess this one kind of goes in environment. Scripts, gameplay. Call this damaging collider. We're going to use the require component type of collider 2D. We're going to have a public damage characteristics, call that damage. Public bool called damage once. And a couple private things. We're going to have a list of damageables that we have already hurt. And then we need our the collider. So in start, we're going to set this collider. We'll do git component collider 2D. We should be able to trust that this is not null because we do require component. We have on trigger enter 2D. We also want to make sure that this collider dot is trigger is true. And we need a public enable damaging. Public disable damaging. Those are both void. Okay, so here's our pseudocode for the on trigger enter 2D. So we'll do collision dot So I'll just return if it doesn't have a damageable component. And then the next thing, we'll check and see if we are allowed to damage it. So we'll do collision.gameObject.layer. Okay, gotta figure out where I've done this before. Uh-oh, I'm seeing a pattern here. I probably need to make a... Need to make a helper function. Let's go do that. Public static bool is layer in mask. If damage once and already hurt dot contains damageable then return okay. So now we do damageable dot take damage, and we just give it the damage. And then we do already hurt dot add damageable. Cool. Gonna need a helper script for this to call these enable and disable damaging. Hello, Dark Cosmos 1. Thanks for joining. I'm afraid you joined when I was just wrapping up. But, how you doing? Things are going well. I'm working on, right now, trying to get I've just got this, like, all this placeholder art going on. But, trying to make my character here have some attacks, so I've got the character and they hold this spear, or the spear kind of floats around their chest area, and then I can zoom in a bit. I can move left and right, and then I've got this animator. I can trigger the attack, so it does a jab like that with the spear, whichever direction I'm facing. But it doesn't do any damage or anything right now. So what I was just working on was making this script called Damaging Collider. It allows you to apply it to a game object that also has a collider, and then it can hurt things that are damageable, which is another script I wrote the other day. Yeah, it's a lot of code. It's not super complicated though. I did some design last week, and so I came up with all this. and then I've just been implementing it slowly throughout this week. Do you program Dark Cosmos? You know any programming languages? Not really, but you want to try getting into JavaScript. Okay. JavaScript is nice. JavaScript is cool too because everyone has an editor and compiler already downloaded on their computer, right? You don't need to do anything super fancy. You can just use your web browser. You can go right click inspect, and then you've got a console here. Let me clear this. So, right, you've got a console here built into your web browser. So if you want to do number plus plus, now we do number, you can see that it's 1 now. You can do console.log, or put in a message here like that, and then it prints it out. Window.warning. There's some way to get a pop-up. I don't remember how to do it. Alert. Okay, that's easy. See, and then the pop-up here shows up, and it says the text that you put into there. That's pretty cool. And if you figure out a little bit of HTML, you can go and write an HTML file that will run your script. So you just do like HTML. And then you can save this as a .html. Got a lot of windows here. So now it's on my desktop, and you just double click on that, and it opens up here, and it says I'm a pop-up. Thanks for the follow, Dark Cosmos. But yeah. This is a really simple script, 5 lines, and every time you reload the page, this pop-up comes up, and you can add other stuff onto here, like do H1. See, and then it shows the heading here. You can do /A is like a link. I think that should work. Oh, that didn't quite work. Nah, I don't remember what it is exactly, but yeah, this stuff is pretty easy to learn. Just go to like HTML. You can go to W3 schools, and they'll teach you about HTML a little bit, and then you can learn about JavaScript on here too. They've got a tab for JavaScript, so I'll send this in the chat, and then this part didn't work, so I'll take that out. I'll copy the rest of this into chat too. Huh. says my message wasn't posted due to conflicts with the channel's moderation settings. Well, I don't know if that showed up for you or not. I don't know why I wouldn't be able to bypass moderation settings. I understand why you can't just paste HTML into the thing. But if you want, take a screenshot of the page now. I'll make it some big font, and then you can type that in later. You got to make sure to save your file as a .html, and then you can just load it up into any browser by double-clicking on it. All right. What time is it? Almost time for me to wrap up here. So I'm going to make a new script. This is going to be for the damaging collider editor. Thanks for the follow, by the way, Dark Cosmos. Appreciate it. Okay. I wasn't able to post the HTML into the chat, so you should just take a screenshot of what I've got on the screen right now, and you can type that in. Yeah, and that link to is a link goes to a page where you can go and learn a lot about HTML and JavaScript. And then, if my memory is serving me correctly, I believe you can use Unreal Engine, and you can program in JavaScript through that. Okay, so I wrote this little custom editor here, so it'll apply the base GUI, and then it'll add these other two buttons for enabling and disabling damage. Okay, now we can go see what that looks like over here. I'm gonna let's see, I'm gonna open the dynamic player prefab, go to the weapon, add a damaging collider. I've got to add a box collider 2D first. And I want it to just be on the very tip of the spear here. And then I can add a damaging collider script. And I've already got damage characteristics made for the spear, so I'll put those into there. This is a damage once kind of thing. And then these are disabled, but if we go and run the scene, then we can enable or disable the damage. That didn't quite work. Disable. Okay, and then it turned off that green box, and I click enable, and it adds it back onto there. I click disable. You see the check mark goes off here. Disable, it comes back up. Okay, that's cool. So I count that done. Create damaging collider script. Don't have it tested yet, but I'm gonna wrap up now. So I made, I cleaned up the animator for the character a bit. I made the player face the direction they are moving. Saved facing direction into the kinematic data. Made a script to so a collider can damage things. Created an editor script so I can enable / disable damage of the collider. Next time, yeah, I try to keep a tally of all the things I accomplish every time I wrap up. Keeps me thinking about what I did that day. And I've also got, I use Jira to track progress of my project. So every week I have one of these burn down charts. I try to eat away at the things I've got left to do. And then I've got my project roadmap. This is basically my goal here is to have a game made by the end of the year. So I've got all these pieces of work here, and they're all working towards sort of this thing at the end of the year, at the end of December, which is to release the game on Steam. So that's my goal. I've never really released a game before. The game might not be perfect, but it's better to have something than to just keep working on it indefinitely and never actually accomplish it. So yeah. You say I'm really cool. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So next time I'm going to work on, let's see, I've got I'm gonna make an enemy that can attack. Let's see, getting hurt. That'll be next time. Can you beta test? LOL. Actually, one of my goals on my roadmap is slated for the end of March, early April. I want to have a tech demo. Sort of represents the first 3 months of my work. It's gonna be a little sort of game demo, just showing off some of the core mechanics of the game without any official art, and I'm gonna put that up online so anyone can go and play that. So yeah, you will be able to help beta test it. Okay, I'm gonna give myself just a bit of a plug here. I've got a YouTube channel where I upload all of my streams. I've been doing this since basically the beginning of the year, so I just upload all my Twitch streams to YouTube, and if you want to go check out stuff I've done in the past, you can go look at those. And I also upload some tutorials sometimes, and I will probably be doing a game progress update type video that sort of shows off everything before I release my tech demo. So if you check out my YouTube channel, you'll be able to see all that stuff and stuff I've previously worked on, and maybe it can help you learn programming too. All right. That's going to be all for today. Thanks for watching, Dark Cosmos. Thanks for the follow. And anyone watching on YouTube after the fact, thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.